Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It's your boy Sats B. Welcome to another edition of the Millionaire Mindset, newly rebranded show from Making Money Moves. Baralicious, what's up? Thanks for stopping in quickly. What a time we live in, man. Anyhow, I had a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk to you guys about today. And I've been ignoring how I've been feeling about the whole passing of Chadwick Boseman. I've been ignoring it because I didn't want to face it yet. And I think I woke up this morning kind of dealing with it because it's something you can't avoid, you know. He's somebody that I admired. He's somebody that I enjoyed watching, and more importantly, you know, I enjoyed listening to him speak and his quotes. And when I heard that he passed away at 43, I didn't know how to react. And if you guys are like me, I was like, God damn you, 2020. What is going on? I don't understand. At 43, why would you take away somebody this early in life at 43? And he's been battling for over 4 years and fighting cancer. So I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to deal with it. And I bounced. For me, I hate everything about cancer. My pops died from cancer. So anybody who gets into that fight, anybody who gets into that battle, my heart goes out to them. You know, I had one of the most life-changing moments when I had a cancer scare. You know, this is 4 years ago. I was playing basketball. It was January. Just a regular basketball day. You know, went out, played ball. I went to the bathroom, and there was blood in my. When I went to the bathroom, and I thought, you know, maybe it's just like exertion. You know, I'm running too much. I'm playing too hard. I'm fighting too much, and so cool. I was taken back because it wasn't like it was, you know, yellow. It was red. I said, all right, let me just go play some more. Maybe it's just like a slight tear or something. I played for another hour, went back to the bathroom, same thing. But the second time it felt more real because all of a sudden, all of my fears, all of my assumptions came to the front. You know, the thing about death is like when you see somebody die, when they're close enough to you, it becomes your reality. And nobody in my life died until my dad died. And the way he died, you know, 5 years of battling cancer. So for me, any of those things, little pains, aches, little bumps, little anything scares the shit out of me. Or scared the shit out of me. So here I am sitting in the parking lot going, man, do I have cancer? Was it like a weird freak accident? Maybe I shouldn't go to the hospital. And this was a Tuesday or a Wednesday, one of those days. I didn't tell my wife. What happened. And I pretended like nothing happened. I went to bed. I went home, showered. Didn't drink any water because I didn't want to go to the bathroom. And I went to bed. And then the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday, the same pattern happened. Every time I would drink water, go to the bathroom, there was blood. Every time I ran across the street to get to whatever I did, it just seems to continuously bleed. And I was like, fuck. I have to face the reality. No matter what the bad news is, I have to face the reality. And it's a tough thing to tell yourself because we don't want to face reality. We want to close our eyes and pretend it's nighttime. We believe if we ignore something long enough, that time will just make it go away. that you can just ignore it. It's not just what I was going through. How many of us do that? We're in a shitty relationship, we ignore it. We think it's just going to be gone. We're in a crappy job, we close our eyes and go to work and assume it's just going to change magically. Our health, sit on the couch too many days, you got a bit more extra weight, and you just kind of bat your eyes against it. You don't do anything about it, because we have this human instinct, human nature, to assume if we ignore something long enough, it just goes away. Young people call it ghosting. We've made it cool now, being ghosted. But you can't ghost your own life. I couldn't. So by Saturday, I had to tell my wife. I said, hey man, something's not right. I didn't tell you, but for the last 3-4 days, I've been bleeding every time I go to the bathroom. I'm scared, I'm nervous. All my worst case dreams are keeping me up. My anxiety levels through the roof. I don't know what to do. And Shaq was just born. So now I'm like, shit, man, I got a young son, I got a daughter, I got this thing, I'm freaking out. So, she said, look, you gotta go to the hospital. We gotta deal with this thing head on. And I didn't have the strength to do it. And a lot of us don't, when we're trying to hide our way from the things that are reality, when we close our eyes and assume that, life is happening to us and not for us, and we don't want to face the reality, we don't want to face the dance. We have to find the courage. And how do you find the courage when it's the one thing you don't want to do? I do not want to get into the car and go to the hospital. I do not want to strip down. I do not want to sit in the waiting room. I do not want a doctor to take my blood. I don't want him to poke around. I don't want him to tell me what I knew in my head was already true, that I had cancer. It was all in my head. So I leaned on her courage. I leaned on her empathy. I leaned on her confidence that everything is going to be okay. I leaned hard into her belief that we're going to be okay. I leaned 100% into her love, because I didn't have any. And we all need to find that one person. Call him your BFF, call him your mentor, call him your angel, whatever you want to call. There's somebody in your life right now that is your fallback. The person who's going to support you, the person who's going to give you their characteristics when you are empty. Love and courage and confidence, fearlessness, the ability to look at danger in the eye and say, I'm gonna get through this. And she allowed me to do that. And we went to the hospital together. I registered. I sat down in that horrible waiting room that took forever for them to call your name, and then you go into another smaller room and you strip down. And I'm stripping down my fears. I'm stripping down my anxiety. I'm stripping down everything that is screaming for me to run from that place. And I'm sitting there waiting for this doctor to come. And it took another year for them to figure out what was wrong with me. It took another year of ultrasounds and blood tests and all sorts of stuff, man. Poking and prodding, and until they figured out what it was. A tiny tumor on my kidney that needed to be removed. And the thing that was incredible about that moment is when you know what it is, when you eventually get to the moment of reality, when you truly find out what is the reason, what is the cause, what is creating this anxiety, you no longer fear it. It's no longer the unknown. Now you have a real enemy. Now you have a real problem. Now you have something you can define. Now you have something that you can research. Now you have something that you can do something about. And this applies to anything you're going through, man. Whether it's your relationship, something doesn't feel right, you're ignoring it. But until you run into it head on and deal with it and get into the symptoms that are making you feel the way you feel, you can't do something about it. Shitty job? Find out why. Is it the pay? Is it the co-workers? Is it the chair? Is it the belief system of the company? Is it the founder? Is it the location? What is creating your tumor in your life? What is it? And if you can get to the source of the tumor, then you have a chance to cut that shit out. And as soon as I knew there's a tiny tumor on my kidney that is creating this internal chaos and conflict, I had a real enemy. I could research it. I can read about it. I can talk to people. I knew what I was thinking. I knew what I was feeling. I knew how we can beat this thing. Then we went to work. Specialist after specialist, a game plan, surgery, I'm out, you know? And this is something that taught me so many valuable lessons in life, of the things that you ignore, the things that you fester, the things that you hold in and ignore. They don't go away. They never leave. You gotta deal with it. So anyhow, when I heard the news about Chadwick, all of my feelings and my emotions came back, and the intense amount of pain this person must have gone through. And where we share some similarities is we both believe in purpose. We both believe that there's a higher purpose for the things we do, and our actions that are meant to mean, momentary, but are supposed to leave behind something for the rest of us. That everything we do is a seed that is being planted, that everything that we focus on, everything we try to take on, and the pain we endure is to represent those that don't know how to do it yet, the voices that are coming behind us. That's how I look at my life. That's what I do with Daisy Fest and Blue Band and Schoolio and all of these things that I work on. For me, it is a way for me to create a voice and an opportunity and to represent people that are not strong enough and brave enough to take that step yet. And in doing so and showing them how I've done it, and the pain and the suffering and the goodness, the positivity that comes out of it, I hope to encourage so many of you to risk the things that you fear that are not going to happen, to take the step into the life that you love. We all deserve it. That's today's talk. That's today's outpour. That's today's how I'm feeling. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are not ignoring the things in life that matter. I hope you have the courage to face your internal enemy. And humans have this unique innate ability to create such chaotic futures in our mind that our present doesn't want to get there and take the risk. We have such an ability that is only for the human brain that creates such a chaotic future that today we don't want to take an action towards that. And no other species has this incredible gift, the superpower, where we can imagine the worst of what's going to happen to us, where we can imagine the horrible future that we will have by actions we haven't even taken. So we choose to ignore the things that are supposed to be the things we do, the moments and the actions and the life that we want to live is just across the street. But we are driven by this imaginary world where our brain allows us to think of the most horrific, horrible ending. And we stop and we freeze and we don't do it and we stay stagnant. I want more for you. I wish more for you. The reason I started this morning conversation is for us equally accountable for that kind of a thinking, to get past that, however we can, together, independent. So anyhow, Chadwick's passing, that I ignored, really caught up with me last night and this morning. And I wanted to deal with it. I wanted to put it out into the universe. that so much of our greatness is within us. And so much of the things that hold us back is also within us. You're never competing with the universe, man. You're never competing with other people's opinions of who you are. You're competing with your own belief system. And I can guarantee you that you can change it. I can guarantee you that there's a process and a blueprint for building that mental fitness that allows you to think huge and grand and be fearless. You know, I constantly think about, why am I afraid of things? You know, COVID was an incredible reminder of like fears that are deep hidden that I've ignored. You know, I fear what happens to my family if I can't make money, and will we lose our house, and will we be on the streets, and can I feed my family or not? And I think about that as if it's a real fear, and it breaks me down. It shuts down my creativity. And that was most of April for me, where this fear of money really, really was tormenting me. Health, you know, I'm still concerned that there's parts and particles of cancer in my body that one day will just awaken. And the sense of time, I've had this ticking time clock since coming out of cancer. And the thing about cancer is when they get it out of you, when they get that toxic piece of flesh out of you, you still have to, for the next 5 years, go in for an annual check-in. And it's one of the most humbling moments, because for me anyways, it happened to be in December. You know, my surgery was in December. And so every December, no matter where I am in the world, I have to go in for a cystoscopy. And they take a tiny tube camera, they insert it up you know what through your bladder into your kidney to take a look. And every year for 5 years since surgery, every year you have to do it, because there's a chance that it can come back. And no matter what I do, I always have that appointment in my head, because you can't miss it. And the idea of missing it is scary, because what if something is in there and you're not looking in? And the whole experience is about 30 seconds. Like, from the minute I lie down on the table and the machine inserts the camera and it goes up and takes a peek, the whole process is 30 seconds, but it takes 364 days to get to that moment. And I did it for 5 years until they cleared me. And that moment constantly reminded me to reset, to ignore my fears, and to go into the dark and be comfortable, you know? So anyhow, that's where I started to practice gratitude. You know, that's where I started to really believe in manifesting the positivity around me. And I didn't really practice gratitude until my first surgery. You know, lying in the gurney and waiting for them to take me, roll me in, and try to cut that tumor out. It was the very first time I started to practice gratitude. I remember when the lady was like, okay, you know, count down from 10 to 1 as they put the mask on me. In my head, I was like, if I don't wake up, I'm extremely grateful for the life I've lived, and for the kids that I've enjoyed, and the wife that's been with me, and the people that have believed in me, and the opportunity that I've had to live my best life. And if I do wake up, I would love all of these things 10 times more. And ever since I woke up after the surgery, every single night when I go to bed, and every single morning when I wake up, I remind myself of the things that I've been gifted. This moment with you is a gift. When you rewatch this thing, it's a gift. When I get on stage at AC Fest, it's a gift. When stranger messages me on Instagram and says, I loved what you said, I could use some help, and we get to talk, that's a gift. Going for lunch with my son and just eating Popeye's chicken, which is horrible for you, is a gift. And I take it super serious. And so that's what the 7-day gratitude challenge is. If you've never practiced it, please join me. And it's free, and you literally just have to download 7 pieces of paper. And I guarantee you, after 7 days, you will feel better, you will feel inspired, you will see a difference in your life, and it becomes addictive. And if you can do it for another 14 days, if you can do it for 30 days, the compound interest of gratitude is something we cannot explain. The compound interest of feeling gratitude will change your life. And so many of us that are trying to learn finance and money, we learn about compound interest. You put $10,000 in your account today, and in 10 years, it's like $1 million or whatever that math is. Gratitude is exactly the same, man. It's a compounding effect. You practice being grateful every single day. The ripple effect, the compound effect of that moment is millions of awesomeness in your life. So please click on the link, get it, and go. Reach out if there's anything I can do to help in your journey. And to close off our session this morning together, I'm going to read a bit of what Chadwick said. The struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. The struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. And I truly believe it. And I think I live a life that demonstrates that. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. I'm going to go hug my kids and be grateful. I hope to see you tomorrow. I thank you for spending some time with me today. Please go get the link. Let's practice gratitude together. Your life will change. I'll guarantee it. Have a great day.